Hello viewer, welcome to Elimu TV where you watch and learn. Welcome to the 6th lesson of biology, Form 3. We're still on the topic classification 2 and our subtopic today is going to be on kingdom, plantae, part 2. So I am your teacher, Madam Christine Okot. Welcome. So this is a preview of what we're going to discuss today, or rather learn today. First, we're going to review the previous assignment. We're going to look at division, PTERIDOPHYTA. We looked at bryophyta in the previous lesson. We're going to look at example of PTERIDOPHYTA, and we're going to look at the characteristics of PTERIDOPHYTA. We're going to look at also the importance of PTERIDOPHYTA, and lastly, we're going to give you an assignment. So on the previous assignment, question 1 was, state the 3 main features of division bryophyta. 1. The bryophytas are green in color, so it means that they contain the chlorophyll, the green pigment which is responsible for photosynthesis. Then, they don't have any vascular bundles, so they don't have either the xylem or the phloem tissues. Then the third feature which identifies the bryophytas is they have tiny root-like structures which are known as the rhizoids. Question number 2 was state 2 examples of plants in division bryophyta. So we have moss, the liverwort, and the hornwort. Still on the assignment, question 3 was, what is the difference in structure of the plant and that of the animal cell? So that is a structure of a plant cell and an animal cell. Now we compare them. So what is the difference? We compare and contrast. So the first thing we can identify is a cell wall. In a plant, there's a cell wall which is made of cellulose, while in an animal, there is no cell wall. So the cell wall is the additional membrane from the cell membrane. Then, in the plant, we have a large vacuole. In the animal, there is a small or there is either no vacuole. In the plants, they have a chloroplast, the green pigment which is found in the leaves for photosynthesis. In animals, there is no chloroplast. Then in plants, there is flagella only in the gametes, while in animals, there is flagella. So those are the differences between the plants and the animal cells. Now, what do both of them have? Both of them have mitochondrium, the Golgi apparatus, the rough and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the ribosome. You can find, when you're free, find your own time to go and still revisit the function of these bodies which are found in the cell structures. So those are the differences, and we've also looked at what both of them have in common. So we're still looking at the division of the plantae kingdom, and the first division was bryophyta. We discussed about it. Today we're going to look at PTERIDOPHYTA, and in the next lesson we're going to look at spermatophyta. So let us look at PTERIDOPHYTA. So how do you identify organisms that belong in the division PTERIDOPHYTA? So these are a group of plants which are larger in size than the bryophyta. Remember, the bryophyta are very small plant. Their size is smaller than the PTERIDOPHYTA. Then they're also green in color, just as the same as the bryophyta, which signifies this presence of chlorophyll in them. What does that tell you? It means they are autotrophs. They can be able to make their own food. They also have well-developed roots, the stems, and the leaves. We're going to look at this. They also reproduce by use of spores of fusion of the gametes. So examples of PTERIDOPHYTA, we have the wood fern. So that is an example, that's the wood fern there. Another example, we have the aquatic fern, as you can see in the illustration. A third example, we have Lycopodium. So there is the lycopodium, and another example we have a bracken fan. So those are the 4 examples we have in the division Pteridophyta. Now let us look at the characteristics of Pteridophyta, the organisms which are found in this division. So as we have said when we were describing a Pteridophyta, they are large plants, they are green in color, they are autotrophic, they have chlorophyll, so it means they are able to make their own food. So an example of a fan, they are green in color, it means they have their green pigment in them, chlorophyll, and they are in a position to make their own food. The third characteristic of Pteridophyta, they have vascular tissues, that is the xylem, which is responsible for the transport of water, and phloem, which is responsible for the transport of mineral salts. So they have these 2 vessels, that's why we call them the vascular plants. So that is an example. So the fan is an example in this division. It is made up of the xylem, which allows movement of water from the roots to all parts of the plant. Then it also have a well-defined phloem, which is responsible for the transport of nutrients and the products of photosynthesis throughout the plants. Another characteristic of Pteridophyta, they have well-developed roots, the stems, and the leaves. So if you can look at the illustration, you look at the stems, they are well developed. The leaves are also well developed. Then the stems, or we can call them the rhizomes of the ferns, are very thick. They grow horizontally under the ground. If you look at the illustration, it's showing the rhizome. So that is a type of stem. Do not confuse it with a root. So it's a type of stem that grows above the ground horizontally. Another characteristic of the Pteridophyta, they have adventitious roots which grow from the rhizome. Remember, the rhizome is the stem which is found in the Pteridophyta. So from the rhizomes, they are developed the adventitious roots. You can see those are the adventitious roots which are growing from the stem, and in this case, the stems are called the rhizomes. Another characteristic of the Pteridophyta, this is in terms of the structure of the leaf. They have very large compound leaves which are called the fronds. Then the fronds have leaf stalks which are called the rachis. If you look at the illustration, the leaf stalk is what we call the rachis there, as it has been elaborated there. Then the leaflets, the tiny leaflets, they are attached to the rachis. They are called the pinna. So each leaflet there is what we call the pinna. In some ferns, the pinna, they have smaller leaflets which are called the pinnules. So the structure of that's a fern. It has the frond, that is the entire structure of the leaf. Then it is made of tiny leaflets which are called the pinna, and the stalk is what we call the rachis. Then the sories are also there. They are useful in the formation of the gametes. Another characteristic of Pteridophyta is in reproduction. The reproduction is mainly by the spore formation. So the spore-bearing structure are what we call the sori or the soras. They are found clustered on the lower side of a mature leaf. So looking at the illustration, we have the soras or the sories. When the sporangium bursts out, it produces the spores which germinate. So we have the sperm cell and we have the egg cell. When they fertilize, they form an embryo which develops and forms another structure of a leaf. Then they also undergo sexual reproduction. This is by the fusion of the male and the female gametes. So this is just a summary of what happened. So it first starts by meiosis, that is when there is a production of the gametes, the male and the female gametes. So the spores will burst out. When the sporangium bursts out, the spores will fall. Then the young gametophytes, they will mature up and they form. So we have the sperm cell from the antheridium and we have the egg cell from the archegonium. So when they fuse together, they fertilize to form a zygote. A zygote, it grows up, it matures up by mitosis, the cell division, then it forms a new sporophyte. So it matures up and this process continues. So I'm going to show you a video still explaining on the sexual reproduction by the fusion of the male and the female gametes. So that video has been showing how the gametes are formed until the process they fertilize the egg and the sperm cell fertilize to form a new offspring in the PTERIDOPHYTA division. Another characteristic, they show alteration of generation. So the multicellular haploid plant structure is what we call the gametophyte, which forms from the spores and give rise to the haploid gametes. So the fluctuation between the diploid and the haploid stages that occur in plant is what we call the alteration of generation. We have the gametophyte and we have the sporophyte. Each undergo a significant process, either mitosis or meiosis, to produce the gametes, after which there is fusion of both to form the zygote. So we have the gametophyte and we have the sporophyte. So that is what we refer to as the alteration of the generations. Now let us look at how are these organisms important. The first importance is they are used as ornamental value. The ferns, most of them are grown as ornamental plants in the gardens at homes for their attractive foliage. So an illustration there of how the ferns, they look very attractive when you grow them in your homestead. They provide a decorative function. At homes also they can be used along the fence or within the compound. They give the home a very nice touch and attractive touch. So that one is as an ornamental value, just as for a decorative purpose. The second importance is on drug production. So the fern leaves, they are used, for example, we have the fern leaves, which are used for protecting against the elements to maintain a youthful growth. So that drug there has been made using the fan leaf, and its main purpose is to help to protect the skin against elements and also to help the skin to maintain the youthful glow. So these are examples of fan leaves and how they are used. For example, we have the sensitive fan. The scientific name is Oneclea sensibilis, which is used for arthritis. We have a maidenhair spinwort fan, which is used for irregular menses in ladies, and it's also used for treatment in breast diseases. We also have another type of fan called the hay-scented fan, which is used for the lung hemorrhage, and we also have the bracken fan, which is used to make the good blood after the menstruation or after childbirth. Another importance of fan is it is also used as a source of food. The one which is normally used is the bracken fan because they are edible. It's not only to the humans but to other animals like the deers, rabbits, the sawflies, and caterpillar. They can use this as a source of food. So when it's cooked, it produces something delicious as that. So that is a fan used as a source of food. So what are the general importance of the pteridophytas, especially the fan? One, as we have said, they are used for as a source of food, the ones which are edible, that is the bracken fan. Then secondly, they are used to harbor nitrogen-fixing bacteria, the ones which fix nitrogen in the plant, because nitrogen is a very useful element in the plants. Then Azolla is grown in rice paddies where it fertilizes the rice plants. So there's a type of fan which is used to help in fertilizing the rice plant species. Then the fans also they are used for medicinal purposes. Mostly the Chinas use these fans to produce. Then the fans also, the extracts from the farm have also been used to kill insects and used for decorative purposes, either in our homesteads. So that has been our lesson today, and this is the assignment. Question number 1, fans are autotroph, explain why. Question 2a, what is the difference in the structure of the roots between the fan and a moss? Question 2 part B, in what division do the above plants belong to? So that has been our lesson today. Remember, you can write to us. Our Facebook page is Elimu TV. Our Twitter handle is @Elimu_KE. Thank you very much for watching. I have been your teacher, Madam Christine Okot.